Welcome to Create Your Own Reality, a show about hope, inspiration, and encouragement. A program that will feature guests and topics that may inspire you to think about what is real and how you can create miracles in your life. Your host, Badeish Lange. Thank you for joining us on Create Your Own Reality. I'm your host, Badeish Lange, and my special guests are Sara Wiseman, Patricia Schaller, and Kathleen Bridget. We are professional psychics together on a panel, asking our studio audience, what's on your mind? Welcome to the show, ladies, and I want to thank you for agreeing to be on this professional, amazing panel. And I would like for you to at this time, introduce yourself, let's say your name, and give us a little bit of information about your abilities. I'll start with you, Sara.
Oh, all right. My name is Sara Wiseman, and I was not psychic as a child in any way, at least that I was told about it. I had a spiritual opening or psychic opening first with a near-death experience in 2000. However, I was a bit reluctant to take on that information then, so guidance came back in 2004. I once again resisted, and finally in 2008, I began to receive channeled writing, and at that time, my abilities sort of opened. So I have 3 books about developing your intuition, Writing the Divine, Your Psychic Child, and a new one, The Intuitive Path. And basically what I do is help people who are in resistance or not sure how to handle their abilities and teach them what I've learned on my path so far. Most recently I've been working with psychic kids, and that's just an area of an interest to me because I have children of my own who are psychic.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Patricia?
Well, I'm Patricia Schaller, and I've been a professional psychic for 40 years, since I was 2. And but I do the the usual things. I do the mediumship and the cards and whatever. I do something interesting where I recreate the plan that you brought into life, which is really interesting for the people. But mainly, I'm an animal communicator. Excuse me. And I do that mostly because there are very few people out there who can do it. Mm-hmm. And the animals bring so much pleasure. I just love them to pieces. And so that's my main focus, is on the animals.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Kathleen Bridget, and I've been a psychic all my life. It wasn't until about 20 years ago, though, that I was able to put aside my corporate work and devote myself entirely to psychic readings. And I work with my guides and your guides. I ask my guides to help me open greater than I've ever opened before, to send me somebody I can truly help. And then I work with your guides to ask their permission to work with you and to give them permission to use me as their mouthpiece. We often know what we are doing and what we feel we should be doing, but sometimes we just need our human ears to hear it coming from a human mouth. And so I work this way. My dream is to open a school. I do teach private classes now, private one-on-one, developing their intuition, their gifts, building a foundation upon which to build so that they can make the most of their gifts, to bring them up so that they can see what their gifts are and how they've been using them without realizing it all their lives. And I work with them to develop their platform for what they're going to be doing the rest of their lives. And so it's been very interesting, and it's a joy to do that. And I'm the one that gets blessed every time somebody walks in my door.
Right. Well, I have a few questions for the panel, and I'm going to start with you first, Sara. You wrote a book called Your Psychic Child. How did that come about?
Mostly because I had so many kids at home, and I started to notice after my own opening, which, by the way, I'm finding is happening, you know, like domino effect. People are just opening at this time in life, or this time in the world. But I would notice funny things. So I had my psychic opening, and I had all these kids, and I didn't know too much about my own children's abilities. And I started to notice things like I would be thinking in my mind, come up for dinner, and they would all suddenly pop up. Is it dinner? You said dinner's ready. And I'm like, I didn't say dinner's ready. And then I started practicing with my youngest daughter some clairvoyant drills, and boy, she just got them instantly. And that made me realize, here's something I know about being a parent and a mother, and I was just going to address the need of teaching kids how to develop these skills. Often they have the skills, but they're not quite sure how it all works together. So
Exactly.
simple things for parents to use to help their children grow.
Well, and we need that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Patricia, being a people psychic and a pet psychic, and really spending a lot of time with animals, all kinds of animals, what are some of the things that you could share with the audience that we might need some tips on, something that we have no idea that's going on in the animal world?
The most important thing is to understand and to know that the animal is really no different from us. They have the same souls as we have. They can pick up our language. They communicate by sending each other pictures, sending each other feelings, and picking up our language like kids do. That's how kids learn language. They pick it up at home. Well, that's how the animals do too. But I think that I'll be very happy, or I'll be a lot happier, when the world realizes that you're dealing with a sacred soul. You know, you're not just dealing with a thing, you know, that's put there for whatever reason you want. And so I could tell you a million stories about how wonderful they are, and their strengths and the way that they help us. I had a horse tell me once, humans are so fragile. You know, they understand, you know, they understand that they're so much bigger than we are, and so on.
Would you say they're empathic with us?
Yes. Oh, yes. And most of the time, the animal, whatever it is with you for a reason. You know, so many people have said to me, he just came into my life when I was at my wit's end, and he's helped me, and when I look into it, you know, I see that this is a soul who, in many instances, has planned to be in your life at that particular time, so that you could help each other.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kathleen, you were tested at 9 years old at UCLA Department of Paranormal Research. And I wanted to ask, that fascinated me. I wanted to ask you a little bit about that.
Sure. Word had gotten around my small neighborhood when I was quite young that I was able to do readings, and the housewives would come over sometimes, "Well, Kathleen, tell me this or tell me that." When I was about 8, there was a child missing, and the police were involved and came over, and the neighborhood was all in a quiver, and they directed the police to me. "Kathy can do this, Kathy can do that, maybe she can help." So the police came and interviewed me and asked what I might be able to tell them. There wasn't much at that level. I wasn't quite skilled or exercised enough, but I did help somewhat, and it made the newspaper. And UCLA sent a letter to us inviting me to test for their grant research program, and to see what I could do. And my mother took me there, and I passed. So they invited me to join their program. And all was going well, very interesting, very skill building. It was amazing to see what some people could do without the training yet. So the potential for them as they were trained was amazing, until we started getting into areas where they were telling us you're going to a room, there are no windows, there are a lot of men coming in there, they have a lot of uniforms on, very pretty uniforms, and they have lots of pretty ribbons on their shoulders, and you don't understand their language, but somehow you know what they're saying to each other, and they're writing, and you can tell us what they're writing, and then brought us back and had us write down what we were seeing and what we were understanding. And my mother asked, "What did you do today?" And I told her, and she about exploded and called them up and yanked me out of the program immediately. Excuse me. Excuse me. We had heard rumors of astral projection and different governments using this, and she did not like the direction this was taking. So she pulled me out of the program. And from there, I was involved in an unusual situation, and I wanted Jean Dixon's take on it, and she was amazing, and I was young still, and excuse me, and she was alarmed at the situation I was in and sent the police to my house, got a hold of them, and I came home from school one day, and the police were there with the letter. We straightened everything out, and they got me out of danger. But then I wrote to thank her, and she agreed to occasionally send me exercises and send me experiences. And so we did that for about 1.5 years, just occasionally writing back and forth. And I treasured that so much, and it was such an honor. And she said that she really supported the youth of America in their development of their abilities. And so this is something I take with me wherever I go the rest of my life.
She's probably watching over you.
I hope so. Yes.
Well, as a member of the panel, I'm a psychic medium with a full range of abilities. My spiritual initiation started at 3 years old, and I've been walking between two worlds ever since. I'm a hypnotherapist and a life coach. I do photo profiling. I'm a healer. I guess one of the things that makes me the happiest is basically discovering things that would take a long time of therapy to discover, and to create an opportunity for people to walk a more conscious life. So that's what drives me, is that walking a more conscious life. It's why this program even exists. So we're going to now be going over to the audience, and the psychic panel will make a contribution to all your questions. We as a panel would like you to know we see you, we feel you, and honor the sacred space between us. So I'm going to ask the first person to ask a question.
Oh, the tough part is narrowing it down to one question.
Yes.
My name is Kim, and what I'm looking for is some guidance in career. I've had a financial background in the last 10 years, and I'm ready to move into something different. Hopefully something more in the creative realm, and was hoping you could help me with that.
Okay. Who would like to talk first?
Well, I think one of the things to really keep in mind is that you cannot overstate the importance of intent, the power of intent. Your intent to do this is the most critical key, and getting that in place, understanding that you are directing your life, that I direct my subconscious to single out what it is that would make me happiest. I direct my spirit conscience to seek out that which would help me make these changes in my life that would bring me to the happiness. I direct my waking self and my sleeping self to work in these areas. And when someone's asking for career change, I like to suggest that they put on a hat of somebody, master gardener, for a week and immerse themselves in that. And by the end of the week, if that doesn't fit them very well, take that hat off and try something else until you find the key that rings your bell, and then working on the inside to make it happen. And you'll find it works.